What's up guys? Hey, Jared here, Tone and Titan, and in this video I wanted to show you 3 simple ways that you can decompress your lower back at home, alleviate pressure, alleviate pain, and even in a lot of cases help your sciatic symptoms. Now first of all, what the heck does decompress mean? Well, so our back is a series of vertebrae that are stacked one on top of another, kind of like building blocks. In between each one of those building blocks, we have a disc, which is kind of squishy, more like a water balloon, if you will. What can happen is with certain problems, if you have a bulge disc, if you have degenerative disc, if you have stenosis, a lot of the more common lower back problems, that can actually cause pressure in your discs, which causes them to kind of get a little bit shorter, to shrink down right here. You'll see these yellow parts right here. Those are all nerves coming out of your back. As that pressure increases, basically it puts more pressure on that nerve. And that is what causes your back pain, that's what causes your sciatic nerve pain, that's what causes you to basically be miserable. So if we can decompress your back, or if we can take some pressure off of that nerve, if we can alleviate the tension right here in the discs and help that to kind of increase space, basically pull it apart this way, if we can do that, all of a sudden you're gonna feel a lot better, your back's gonna feel a lot better, and you're just gonna be more functional overall. One of the best ways that we can do that is with traction. Traction is decompression, basically the same thing. I'm going to show you how to apply traction or decompression at home. Again, I'm going to show you 3 very simple methods. That being said, method number 1 is coming your way right now. The first thing I want you to try, you're going to come up to a firm, level platform. This can be your bed or a couch. Some people even do it at like their kitchen counter or kitchen table. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Get creative, see what works for you. I like to grab a couple of big pillows and kind of sit those right on the edge of your bed. And now as you stand at the edge of your bed, you're just going to fold over it like this. And then what you can do here is you'll see that my feet are still on the ground. I've got my knees bent. And basically what's happening here is the weight of my hips and my lower legs are pulling on my lower back, are causing that decompression, are causing that traction force through my back. Now, if I'm at home, if I'm doing this for real, I'm gonna put my head kind of down in my hands just like this. The key here is I want to be as relaxed through my entire spine as possible. So I don't want those muscles contracting. I want to feel just a nice, comfortable stretch throughout my entire lower back. So it looks just like that. And then what you can do is take some nice deep breaths. So a lot of people will hold their breath in this position. So take a nice deep breath in and then a nice deep breath out and just feel everything relax into that stretch as you do it. Now, if that feels okay, the other thing that you can do is actually kind of reach forward with your hands. So it looks just like this. This is kind of phase 2. Reaching forward with your hands causes a little bit more decompression in your back. It's a little bit more aggressive and a lot of times feels even a little bit better. And again, remember those deep breaths. So nice and deep in and then nice and deep out. What I recommend is that you start with about 30 to 60 seconds and then give yourself a little bit of a break. So kind of put your elbows down, put your feet down, give yourself a little bit of a break, and then get back into that position again for 30 to 60 seconds. If that feels good at 30 to 60 seconds, increase that to 2 minutes to 3 minutes, up to about 5 minutes. You can sit here, you can read a book, you can look at your phone, you can kind of do different things to keep yourself occupied. But the goal is to just keep that traction force applied to your lower back, and hopefully you continue to find good relief with that. Method number 2 is slightly more aggressive because we're going to use a greater percentage of our body weight. It's a little awkward to get into. It requires a little more strength. It can be a little more aggravating to your back, so please keep that in mind. If it hurts, if it's painful, if you're unable to relax your back while you're doing this, then go ahead and just bail on this one. Just get out of the position. And so what we're going to do, this works best on the edge of your bed. And so you're going to come to the edge of your bed, you're going to lay down on your stomach, and then with your hands, this is a little bit taller than most beds here, my treatment table. With your hands on the ground, what I want you to do is use your toes and use your hands, walk yourself out until just your hips are supported on the edge of the bed. Then what you can do is reach forward with your hands, so your hands come all the way forward, let your torso kind of sag down into the floor, and then again try to relax. Nice deep breaths until we feel a nice decompression or a nice stretch throughout your entire spine. So that's kind of phase one. What I would recommend is, again, about 10 to 30 seconds right there, and then you can walk your hands back up to give yourself a little bit of a break, and then get back down into that position. Now, if that feels okay, the one that I personally like, the one that I prefer even more, would be to kind of just right down here onto your elbows. And so that's going to be a little bit more of a traction force through your back. It's a little bit more effective at decompressing your spine. But again, the most important part of this is that I want you to be able to remain nice and relaxed through your back. Nice deep breaths, remember the breathing, and you should feel that stretch all throughout your lower back. And so again, I'm going to start with about 30 seconds here, and then you can come up and then back down into about 30 seconds more. If that feels okay, feel free to hang out there for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then do that about 3 times. Hopefully that helps your back feel better. Now the third method that I wanted to demonstrate for you in this video, how to decompress your lower back, it's actually my personal favorite. It takes place right here in the pull-up bar. If you don't have a pull-up bar at home, or if you don't have access to one at your gym, they are pretty inexpensive to pick up. There are some really good home models of this that you put in a doorway. What I'll do is I'll link down below, check the link in the description. You can find these home versions. It's a pretty inexpensive way to actually do a lot of good for your back. The reason why I like this, I feel it is a little more aggressive. I feel a little bit better stretch as I'm doing it, just because you're suspending a greater percentage of your body weight. The other thing that I really like about it is that it's a better alignment for your spine, meaning we can keep your spine in a more neutral, kind of upright alignment versus bent, the way that I showed you in the previous two. The thing that I don't like about it is that it requires a little more upper body strength. And so keep those things in mind as you're trying to, figure out which one is going to work the best for you. Now, the key thing to remember, what we're going to do is we're just going to come right here underneath the pull-up bar. But what I want you to remember is I don't want your feet to be suspended. If your feet are up off of the ground, like I've got right here, there's a lot of muscle activation going on through your torso that's actually going to limit your spine's ability to elongate. So what you need to do is find something where you can hang underneath it, but then still keep your feet lightly placed on the ground. As soon as you place your feet on the ground, you'll feel your lower back muscles turn off immediately, and there will start to be more of a stretch appreciated in your lower back. The other thing that I like about that, about keeping your feet down, is that you can kind of bias how you feel this stretch when you're underneath the pull-up bar. So if you have a bulged disc, those problems typically do better with traction or decompression in extension. So what I recommend, if you have a bulged disc, try this out. So get under your pull-up bar, but then tuck your feet back behind you so it looks like this. So just your toes are on the ground, and there's a little bit of an extension, meaning bending backwards like this through your back. A lot of people really like the way that that feels if you have a disc bulge going on. Now, if you have a stenosis problem or a degenerative disc problem going on, those problems typically respond better to flexion. What I would do then, in that case, is move your feet forward. So now just my heels are on the ground. So I'm still hanging, but now I'm tucking my pelvis forward to open up the foramen, open up the holes in my vertebrae, and create more space. And so that's another really good method of decompression. What I recommend there is hang as long as you can. Obviously, in this case, the grip is usually the limiting factor. Start with 3 to 5 sets of about 15-second holds. Get up to 30-second holds. If you can get 60-second holds, your forearms are amazing. You're doing great things, but that's going to be even better for your back. Now, it's crucial to mention that while decompression feels great, if that's all you do, you're missing the mark on that a little bit. You need to follow that up with some stretching and some strengthening to your lower back and core to help you to feel better. What I want you to do is check out these videos right here. I've got some stretches, I've got some core exercises that I would recommend for you to keep your back strong and healthy. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to Tone and Tighten yet, I'd love to see you back for future videos. Click the circle right here to do that. And I hope to see you next time right here on Tone and Tighten.